Greetings loyal subscribers and honoured guests. In this episode we have an arcade brawler, a tricky puzzler, an undersea adventure and a tense investigation of planet LV-426 with Lieutenant Ripley and her space marine buddies from the Sulaco. Looks like a pretty nice mix, so without further ado, let's start checking them out. We begin with Electric Dreams' adaptation of James Cameron's classic sequel to the original Alien, which itself was a masterwork of action and horror. Not only do you control Ellen Ripley, who was played brilliantly by Sigourney Weaver in the movie, but also 5 of her marine bodyguards. This gives you quite a bit to think about, and as you get deeper and deeper into alien-infested territory, one or more of them will almost certainly meet a grisly end. In fact, it's more than likely that your entire team will be wiped out as you explore, because the xenomorphs are no joke in this game, let me tell you. It makes for an experience that feels very true to the source material, and a pretty fun, albeit scary game. The graphics are pretty decent, with some nice portraits of the 6 actors from the film, and dark corridors with alien gunk coating the walls. The sound effects are a bit on the sparse side, but the lack of music does help ramp up the tension. One wrong turn and you're likely to end up face to slathering teeth with one of the aliens. Should this happen, you have a few seconds to line them up in your sights and blow them away with your pulse rifle. If you're not quick enough, then that crew member is pretty much screwed, and all you can do is take over one of the other remaining survivors and hope they fare a little better. A tough, atmospheric adventure that fans of the source material should really appreciate. Okay, so this one took me by surprise a bit. I was expecting Tilt by Codemasters, the fun maze game that was famous for featuring Commodore format's own Roger Frames on the cover. And what I actually got was Tilt by Genius, which is a slide puzzle type game. The idea is to rearrange the maze by sliding the tiles around and making it possible for the ball bearing to reach the exit at the lower right side. There's a variety of special block types that do things like pause the ball for a while, or trigger an animation that just serves to waste some of your time limit. The trouble is, I'm hopeless at this sort of puzzle in real life, and things are no different here. I completely failed to even make it past the first stage. There is a rather nice tune to listen to while you play though. Overall, I would have preferred the other game called Tilt, though I believe that one was included in a later power pack. Next up, we have Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles 2, the arcade game. Yes, that's right, because the game was made in the UK, it uses the word hero instead of ninja because of daft censorship rules. I really loved the original coin-op version of this game. They had it at the Pontins where I used to go on holiday over the Easter weekend, and I must have fed it at least £5 at a time in an attempt to get to the end. I never did manage to finish it this way, and it wasn't until I had a PC powerful enough to run MAME that I finally saw all the game had to offer many years later. This C64 version is a decent attempt at converting the game over to considerably weaker hardware, although if you put it next to the NES counterpart, it does start to look rather weak. Also, the character in the top left has a red bandana, but the turtle you're controlling in the demo is most definitely wielding nunchuck, which is a bit weird. It's either a limitation of the hardware that meant that they had to use red in the score bar, or the people who made the game weren't really that familiar with the cartoons or comic. I'm not sure which. Definitely an improvement over the first Turtles game, which was abysmal, but still not exactly great either. Finally this issue we have Terror of the Deep, where you play as a Victorian-era scientist exploring Loch Ness in his submarine to look for the famous monster. While underneath the water you will probably come under attack from strange alien tentacle monsters that live down there. You can deal with them by using your harpoons, shocking them with electricity, or by using a bomb. The submarine is a rather complex beast to control, and you will have to carefully monitor your power level and your oxygen supply. Should either start to run low, you can recharge them by selecting the appropriate device and then pumping up and down on the joystick for a while. There's quite a few different buttons and levers around the screen which take a bit of getting used to. The short guide in Commodore Format 14 tells you most of which you need to know though. The rest you can figure out yourself with a bit of experimentation. I quite like this game, it's a novel idea which works quite nicely. That brings Power Pack 14 to a close then. This time the star of the show was Aliens, closely followed by Terror of the Deep. I recommend that you check out these two games. See you again in a fortnight for Power Pack 15. In the meantime, take care.